What's up, guys? Chimp Choke MMA here, coming at you with another tier list. Except today we are going to be doing this a little bit differently, and instead of throwing fighters into tiers, we are going to be assigning them military branches. So let's get into this, man. If you're in the Marine Corps, you're probably an idiot, but you're like stupid strong, okay? If you're in the Army, you're ratchet. You probably had no other options in this. And if you're in the Navy, you might actually like men, okay? You might actually like men. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? I just want to elaborate on that. There's nothing wrong with that, but you might like men. And if you're in the Air Force, you either do nothing or you're just a nerd. So y'all will see what I mean. I'm going to use a lot of military terminology in this video, but don't worry. I'll hold your hand along the way. I'll explain it. And coming in hot, man, we got Tony Ferguson. I mean, do I even need to explain why this guy would be Navy? He's always hanging out with David Goggins, but specifically, this guy would be that one Navy SEAL dropout in your platoon, man. Like, this guy's probably a chef, but claims that he went through Navy SEAL training, made it all the way through to the last phase, but somehow failed. And, you know, this guy never shuts up about it. He probably mentions the word Navy SEAL about 20 times a day. Complains 24/7 about his job. Has an excuse for everything. He's probably skating in the back. If you don't know what skating means, that just means you're avoiding your job. Probably skating in the back, and, you know, when people press him about it, he's got an excuse ready, lined up. And this guy has a story prepared for every situation about his time in the Navy SEALs, man. Like, this guy's got it all mapped out, man. Like, he knows what he did from start to finish, but everybody in the platoon just knows it's not true. Like, something's not adding up here, all right? And then last thing I have, this guy thinks that he's more badass than everyone in his platoon, man. You know, he sort of like gatekeeps himself for whatever reason, and he doesn't associate with anyone in the platoon. Probably hangs out with the other like infantry marines on shit because he feels like he relates to them more. And that's pretty much all I got for Tony Ferguson. Hope you guys see it as well as I do now, but this was pretty obvious for me. Tony Ferguson, Navy SEAL dropout, makes complete sense to me. And this next one, man, I feel like this one's pretty obvious, but Gaethje would 100% be a Marine. Gaethje is literally a textbook Marine, bro. I mean, this guy's eating crayons, literally has retard strength, and he's going on hikes with M240 Bravos for like 15 kilometers, not breaking a sweat, probably leading the pack, probably guide or something like that. And you know, this guy's Instagram is cringy as fuck. It just has the same pictures of uniform of him in uniform posted over and over again. They're all blurry. He still has an Android. His caption is horribly phrased. There's like no periods, no commas or whatever, talking about how proud he is that he's a Marine or whatever. He just reposts this over and over again. That's what I see Gaethje doing. And his Facebook is no better. He's probably always reposting that one thing that's like, we were kids during 9/11, but we're not kids anymore. And that's how I see Gaethje being. In my opinion, he's a textbook Marine. I could 100% see this guy in the Marine Corps. And this next one, it might come as a little bit of a surprise to you guys, but I could totally see Michael Chandler being in the Air Force. He's that overly motivated guy for no reason. This guy, his sleeves are extremely tight to the point where it's cutting off circulation in his arms. You know, it's becoming a problem. His desk is completely spotless. He cares too much about field day. And if you don't know what field day is, it's basically just cleaning your room or cleaning the office. You know, don't have dust on your desk. This guy will press you about it, trust me. And overuses military sayings in every sentence, probably yelling all the time when he walks in. He's going, "Good morning, everyone," and expects a response back. This guy knows every order by heart, man. Do not press him on this. He knows every single order word for word by heart. If you walk in with a 5 o'clock shadow, you're screwed. You're going home. You are going to have to shave and come back. And yeah, he's just like extremely fit for no reason. This guy probably works an admin job, working at his desk his whole career, but he's out here yelling, throwing out every military saying in the book. And yeah, that's where I see Michael Chandler, man. This next one, I feel like I completely cooked on this one. I'm gonna be honest. Bro, Jon Jones is the definition of don't ask, don't tell, bro. This guy, whenever the ship ports, whenever they're going to Thailand, man, you know, this guy's got a family back home. He's got a whole ass family, but for some reason, he's always at the banana shows looking for ladyboys, okay? Yeah, that's where I see Jon Jones being. I mean, you know, like I said, if you're in the Navy, you might like men, man. And I think we all know Jon Jones likes to dabble a little bit in that. This guy probably has like 3 DUIs. He's probably on his way to be getting kicked out, you know. He's been going through the paperwork for years, but he still hasn't been kicked out yet. But, you know, he's on the way out, okay? He's on the way out. And, you know, last thing I got about this guy, probably always has a doctor's note to not shave. You know, he has a full beard. He's the only guy with a beard in the platoon for some reason. But, like, he always has the doctor's note on ready, on call. It's in his pocket. He's ready to pull it out at any moment to prove that, you know, he can't shave. So, yeah, that's where I have Jon Jones. And yeah, we got another Marine for this next one, and I can't see Sean Strickland being in any branch, any other branch. I mean, look at that mustache, dude. That is like almost every Marine has had this mustache at one point. You know, this guy, he's gotten into some trouble. He's probably been NJP'd twice. If you don't know what an NJP is, it's pretty much you do something bad and then you get demoted. Not Jon Jones. I mean, Jon Jones too, but Sean Strickland, he's probably been demoted 2 or 3 times. He might not be on his way out. But after hours, this guy's always out at the pavilion drinking. He's never not drinking. And whenever you drink with this guy, you know, he's not a fun guy to be around whenever you drink. He's probably always trying to fight people and a little bit too open about his past, you know, when he drinks a little bit too much. And yeah, he probably has a pending like sexual assault allegation against him. Absolutely no filter, you know. Here's the fucking thing about Staff Sergeant, you guys. Staff Sergeant's a fucking scumbag. And, you know, the Dark Green Marines, let's just say the Dark Green Marines, they don't feel comfortable around Sean Strickland, okay? They try to avoid this guy at all costs, alright? But the next guy that we will get into is our first Army candidate, and that is Daniel Cormier. Listen, Daniel Cormier, everybody has that one fat sergeant at the shop. This guy, you probably never see him at work. He probably knows nothing about his job, but somehow he's the top sergeant anyways. He's the guy that you always come to for advice. He's probably been a sergeant for about 10 years, never getting promoted to staff sergeant. All of his peers passed him. His peers are probably like 2 ranks above him or whatever. But yeah, when he is at work, you know, he's pretty funny. He's probably the center of attention. He's making everybody laugh. Everybody's circling around him when he's at work, but probably doesn't do shit at all. So this next guy, I feel like is pretty spot on too. I didn't have a Space Force tier because I just didn't think that there were too many that would belong in the Space Force. But yeah, you know, I could definitely see Corey Sandhagen being in the Space Force. You know, this guy probably has replica spaceships in his room. He's probably obsessed with his job. He talks about it 24/7. When you're out drinking with this guy, he's still talking about his fucking job. He probably works cybersecurity or something. I don't see him working on like actual aircrafts. but he's like super nerdy about the aircrafts for some reason. But he probably works cybersecurity, probably has a few certifications. And yeah, that's where I see Corey Sandhagen. And this next guy that we'll get into is Kevin Holland. Bro, I literally can't picture Kevin Holland in any other branch. I could see this guy being like Motor T or something. If you guys don't know what Motor T is, they work on like Humvees and the big trucks and stuff like that. They're called 7 tons. You know, this guy probably vapes, but somehow he always smells like cigarettes. And he's always hanging around the country kids for some reason. You know, the black friend group in the army. He's probably not hanging out with them. He's probably hanging out with the country kids for some reason. And, you know, he's got nothing better for him going on back home. He'll probably do 20 years, but he probably doesn't really give a shit about the army. Probably doesn't give a shit about following the rules or whatever, or learning his job or anything like that. He's just there because he has nothing better going on back home. And I could definitely see this guy, like, you look over at his phone and he's always got some he's always sending some like creepy messages to some girls on Snap or whatever. And yeah, that's where I see Kevin Holland at. And this next guy that we got, you know, I tried to keep it mostly American dudes, but there were just some guys that just gave me the vibe, and I needed to add them to this list. So this next one that I got is Israel Adesanya. And yeah, Israel Adesanya, you know, he's that one weird sergeant that you have. He's always wearing anime clothes outside of work. Claims that he's Goku, probably doing Kamehamehas or Hadoukens all the time. And I know that Israel Adesanya is athletic. I mean, he does MMA, but when I see him and I picture him in the Air Force, he's that one skinny guy in your platoon that can't run for shit. And he's like weirdly unathletic, probably can't do a pull-up or anything like that. He's always saying stupid motivational quotes, but not like to the point where it's Michael Chandler and it makes sense for him, but it's just like cringy when Israel Adesanya does it. And let's just say he doesn't have Chandler's sleeves. He's probably rolling his sleeves wrong. They're probably down to his elbows. They look like shit. And yeah, that's where I see Israel Adesanya being. And the next guy that we got, this is literally just based off of pure vibes, I'm going to be honest, and just the way that he looks. I really don't have anything else for this, but I got Cyril Gahn in the Navy, man. I see Cyril Gahn as being like the chief on ship that doesn't really talk much, and he's always at the gym, probably always in PT gear. You know, he's loading up at the chow hall, goes ghost on social media for months at a time, and he looks really intimidating, but he's probably just a little teddy bear. And that's how I see Cyril Gahn. You know, probably doesn't talk much, just at the gym all the time. That's really what I see Cyril Gahn being. I'm gonna be honest, I really just needed another Navy candidate, and he kind of just looks like he would fit the bill. Alright, our last Army candidate, we got Dustin Poirier. I don't know why, but I always associate people from Louisiana as people that would be joining the Army. And I feel like Dustin Poirier really fits this memo, you know? He's that one kid in the platoon that's always trying to act black or whatever. He's probably always listening to Tupac or something like that, trying to tell you that mumble rap sucks, and, you know, Biggie and Tupac are his goats and shit like that. I could see him being like comm or infantry or something like that. Definitely something a little bit more high speed, I guess. And this guy's definitely in a long distance relationship. Okay, he's always on FaceTime when he's not at work, and he's probably getting jodied by Conor McGregor. If you don't know what that means, when you're in a long distance relationship in the military, there's typically this guy back home named Jody. That's what we like to call him. And yeah, he's fucking your girl, man. Yeah, he's fucking your girl. But this guy, he doesn't believe it, you know. And you know, he's pretty cool when he's a junior enlisted, but then the second he hits sergeant, he's an asshole to everyone in the shop. He's probably big dicking everyone, talking about, "Oh yeah, this is my house. This is my house." Tell me you can't see Dustin Poirier saying that. Let's be honest. And probably always challenging people to grappling matches. Like I said, just trying to big dick everyone in the shop. But I will say this, Dustin Poirier, he's probably cool as fuck outside of work when he's not on FaceTime with his girlfriend. You know, he might be buying the boys some alcohol, and we might be partying with him a little bit. He might be that cool sergeant in the platoon, you know. So I will say, I will give Dustin Poirier that. And next guy that we got another Air Force candidate, and I mean, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, like, yeah, I can't see him being in any other branch than the Air Force. This guy's probably got a clean uniform all the time. He's married. He lives in BAH housing, or base housing. He lives on base. He's got his own crib. He's not living in the barracks like you peasants. And he's probably the platoon staff or the platoon commander or whatever. And you could probably feel comfortable actually talking to this guy about some real shit, you know? Like a lot of like the higher enlisted people, like you wouldn't really feel comfortable talking to him. But you know, he's probably a nice enough guy to where you could come up to him and explain to him like your grievances and stuff like that, and he'll understand. Dude's probably weirdly fast. He probably outruns everybody in the platoon. And outside of work, I just see this guy wearing silkies all the time. I'm gonna be honest. If you don't know what silkies are, they're like really short shorts. I just see this dude wearing silkies all the time. Like if you see this dude at the gym, he's probably wearing them. He might not even be squatting. He might be hitting arms or something like that. You see this dude at the PX, which is like the store on base. He's probably wearing silkies, you know. And yeah, he probably has some weird hobbies outside of work, like biking or something like that. So that's where I see Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And this next guy, another Marine. You guys may not see it, but Henry Cejudo. Listen, dude. I think we should PT, dude. Listen, I just feel like Henry Cejudo is like literally he looks like every Mexican Marine I've ever met in my fucking life. Like, this dude's probably always got a high fade. You know, this guy's probably overly motivated. Probably really good at his job. I could definitely see him, like, wanting to be a drill instructor someday or something like that. Like I said, you guys may not see it because you know his personality. But trust me, if I saw this guy in the Marine Corps, I'd know exactly who he was. You know, you're probably out at the pavilion. They're playing, like, some Peso Pluma or some shit like that, drinking Modelo's. Yeah, that's how I see Henry Cejudo being if he was in the Marine Corps. And next we got another Marine, and bro, Nate Diaz is locked to the smoke pit, man. This man, he cannot escape the smoke pit. During work hours, he's outside 24/7. He's somehow got an unlimited supply of cigarettes. Probably smokes like 2 packs a day. He always has salty or ripped camis. If you guys don't know what salty means, that basically means like when your camis get wear and tear and they become whiter over time. Those are salty camis. He doesn't listen to anyone of higher authority. He's probably like, fuck Staff Sergeant, man. And yeah, this dude's a terminal lance. You know, he may not be getting NJP'd, or he's probably not getting as much trouble as like a Sean Strickland or a John Jones, but you know, this guy, he doesn't care enough to the point where yeah, he's probably not getting promoted ever. He's probably gonna stay as a lance corporal his whole career, get out after 4 years, and then do the same shit that he did before he got in, man. But yeah, our last one on the list, I really didn't have any rhyme or reason to put him here. I just couldn't see him in any other branch or any other uniform when I was thinking about making this video. I literally could only see him being in an Air Force uniform. I don't know why, but I had to include him in the list because of his ties with certain people. So listen, I could really see Colby Covington being in the Air Force. I could see him being like security forces or military police or something like that. This dude's probably always wearing aviator sunglasses, And I just see him being like extremely hypocritical towards other people in the branch. You know, the guys that he probably arrests, he probably thinks that they're shitbags, but this dude's probably doing some shady shit on the side. You know, he's always virtue signaling to other people, thinking that he's better than people because he's military police. But in reality, this guy, he just hasn't been caught yet because you know, he's got the military police privilege. So that's pretty much all I got for the video. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you disagree with any of these? Do you agree with these? Do you have any other suggestions? And that's pretty much all I got. So, yeah, y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later.